prayer and pledge?
Let's bow. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for our time together and our time to work through some of the city business. Thank you for all the blessings that you bestowed on all of us here and our great city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Brown. Here. Henson.
Here.
Martin. Here. Meyer.
Here.
Mosley. Here. O'Rourke. Here. Permenter. Here. Rodell. Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum, and we have called to order right at 6:30 p.m. Okay, the first item on our agenda is approval of minutes from the October 24th, 2023 council meeting. They were sent to you under cover, and I would just need, if there are any questions to be brought up about them or corrections, otherwise entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, no. The ayes have it, they have passed. Thank you. We have some fun presentations, I think. Commissioner Power from Animal Control, awards presentation and badge pinning.
Very excited to announce that we are going to be doing a badge pinning tonight for Officer Jesse Bell. Jesse, can you come up to the stand? I'm waiting for my photographer to get ready. So, Jesse Bell has been with the department for a little over a year now. 2 years now? Gosh. 2 years. It's long by. And so far, she has completed 30 certificates, 4 certifications, which include Tier 3. She is certified as National Animal Control Officer Level 1 and 2, also for chemical capture, and for humane animal euthanasia. So she is receiving 3 ribbons tonight. She's got one that's been promised to her. So here are those ribbons for that. And then pinning her badge on her is going to be her father, and I'm so sorry, I cannot remember your name. Mike. Mike. My God's going to be pinning her badge. And I'm going to step out of the way so we can take some photos.
Now, she has called me several other things at other times. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight problem here due to the idiocy of the father.
Don't stick her too hard, sir.
Well, you did that enough when she was
Well, changing diapers or something.
Back then you had to use pen. No, she's not that old.
Well, I was a DEA agent, and I've never got used to pinning on a badge. Now, got the photograph? Okay.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, she has spoken very highly of how this situation out here and how the city is run and the efficiency. And she's spoken very highly of that, and that will give a lot of confidence to the citizens of this town.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We're so pleased. Okay, Gordon. Our director's report this month is coming from our IT department. Gordon's been working and practicing on this all day.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. I'm going to try and be brief. I know we have a long agenda this evening, but I haven't given a report in a couple of years, and in lieu of everything that's been going on, I thought it might be a good time for you guys to learn a little more about the IT department. So the IT department is a cog in the wheel that we call the City of Bryant. Currently, the IT department services 153 network workstations, over 50 laptops that are not actually directly connected to our network, such as in the PD car, fire department trucks, so forth and so on. We have 21 servers on the network. We have 8 locations that have technology that we service. And 2 of those locations, Public Works and Bishop Park, each have 6 facilities on those campuses that have technology that we service. We have to service multiple shifts and days of the week. Fire department, dispatch, PD, more specifically, occasionally we have Public Works that will come out on the weekend. We also have to service animal control on a very rare occasion on the weekend when they have issues that have to be addressed immediately if they get called out. The IT department is on call 24/7, 365, and up until recently, that has fallen squarely on my shoulders. That has meant that I've not been able to take a vacation without certain considerations. I have to stay within an hour or so's drive of town. I have to make sure that I stay within cell phone signal. If I go camping, I have to make sure that I can receive phone calls and stuff like that. So going and taking a camping trip on the north side of Lake Ouachita is out of the question. Going over to Oklahoma and spending Thanksgiving with my sister and her family is out of the question. The new IT staff, systems administrator, has been with the city now for 3 months and is already well outpaced his predecessor after she was here for 3 years. The city has approximately 220 full-time employees. I say approximately, we go through separations and rehires, this, that, and the other, and we have 2 IT staff members. That gives us an employee to IT staff ratio of 110 employees to every IT staff member. And get a little bit deeper in the presentation, please remember the 110 to 1 number. We have an extremely diverse collection of complex systems that we support, everything from door access control systems, credit card readers, cellular service devices, handheld tablets, specialized software for each of the departments. The cameras for police department body cameras, in-car cameras and DVRs, and a plethora of other things that we support. So it's not like we just take care of the network. To give you a little perspective, this is what most people see when they see a police car, right? That's what you expect to see when you see a police car. Well, in IT, this is what we see when we see a police car. There's the technology in the front that the officer uses, and then there's the network in the back. Every police car is a mini network. There's a network in the back of that police car that runs the technology in the front, and we have to support that. So, since we're talking about police, let's talk about cybercrime for a little bit. I'm sure everybody is familiar with cybersecurity issues and cybercrime, right? So this is a constant invisible threat that we have to address. As I mentioned earlier in the workshop, some of the software that we can't get rid of is stuff that is required for us to help stave off malware and cybersecurity attacks. We have to abide by the legislative audit. As a matter of fact, earlier in the workshop, we heard from the annual financial auditor. IT is part of that legislative audit. In fact, this year I did have to answer some questions. They specifically wanted to verify some things about our network in order for us to pass this audit. And admittedly, Joy does 99% of making sure that we pass the audit. So, but we do occasionally have to deal with that. CJIS is Criminal Justice Information Security. Law enforcement people or people that are familiar with law enforcement are very familiar with this. In fact, back in February, the police department just went through and passed have to call out Gail McCarty, the 911 dispatch supervisor, because she did the bulk of that work. But I had to assist her a lot in that in order to pass that FBI audit. We also have PCI compliance. PCI is payment card information. There are federal and state regulations regarding how we handle data from people's credit cards and debit cards. Since those credit card machines are connected to our network, we have to deal with all of that as well. So, last year in November, the city of Little Rock, this is the Little Rock School District, had a cybersecurity incident where they got hit with ransomware. That was in November. In December, they finally decided that it was in their best interest to go ahead and pay the hackers $250,000, $250,000 in ransom in order to recover their data. Now, I saw a news report, I don't remember where it was one of the news agencies that reported like back in May or June of this year that it was estimated that it ended up costing the Little Rock School District in the neighborhood of $600,000 total cost by the time they paid the ransom, the recovery, the downtime, the loss of data that they had. The city of Little Rock, just in April of this year, had an incident occur that they never, to this day, still have not really discussed. Their entire network was down for over 2 days for what the city called a security concern. They never spoke to the media about it. They didn't talk about anything. They didn't want to talk about anything. They did say that their 911, 311, and the city phones were not affected. I want you to notice they did not indicate that their police, fire, and 911 dispatch were unaffected. They only stated that their phones were unaffected. In June of this year, June 8th, the city of Fayetteville had an incident occur. A statement from one of their representatives, quote, "This includes email, online payments, inspection scheduling, and network applications," unquote. They did say that their police, fire, and 911 services were unaffected during this incident. It wasn't until June 21st that they reported that most of their services were back online. 2 weeks. City of Fayetteville was down for 2 weeks because of a cybersecurity incident. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about IT staffing. I did a lot of research to try and find some dependable, reliable, credible data. I found a lot of credible sources on the internet that had reports, articles that they had written. Almost every one of them referenced the studies done by 2 companies. That's Workforce.com and Robert Half were the 2 companies that were referenced in almost all of those reports. Both of these are global companies that work worldwide. Workforce.com helps organizations determine the level of staffing that they need for their particular organization by doing studies on everything worldwide. Workforce.com says that typical IT staffing ratio is 1 IT staff to 27 employees among all companies included in the survey. Now, this includes large corporations such as Dell, Microsoft, larger corporations as well. They also said a little bit further down in their study, however, companies with with 500 or fewer employees typically have an IT staffing of a ratio of about 1 IT staff to 18 full-time employees. Robert Half Corporation, they provide staffing solutions. They help people find staff members that have specialized skills and that kind of stuff. They also do business consulting. In their study, they said an overall employee to help desk ratio, and I'm going to try and keep this brief. So when they say help desk ratio, they're talking about a tier 1 help desk person. The next statement we're going to talk about tier 2. And that's a level of skill that your IT professionals have. Okay. So overall employee to help desk ratio is about 70 employees to 1 IT staff for an organization with a single operating system and network that's considered suitable. So a simple network, I want you to think about the picture of the back of that police car, right? That number drops to about 45 to 1 for an enterprise network with using a number of operating systems with no consistent hardware standards. And if your company has fewer than 500 employees, an employee to help desk tier 2 support staff ratio would be approximately 18 employees to 1 IT staff. So, IT staffing needs for the city of Bryant. We currently have an IT staffing ratio of 110 employees to 1 IT staff member. Now, if the IT department had a staff of 4, that would give us a ratio of about 55 employees to 1 IT staff. So this is a goal that I'm not too, we'll call it midterm. With everything that's been going on this year, we'll call it a midterm goal. I would like to, at some point in the next few years, move towards a better staffing ratio for the city. An example, the police department alone has 62 employees. So based on the studies by Robert Half and Workforce.com, the police department should qualify for their own full-time IT staff. And when we're talking about police and IT work, I want to call out Captain Pate, Captain Tarvin, and Assistant Chief Plouch, because these men understand how spread thin the IT staff is. And these 3 men have picked up stuff that they are capable of doing, and they take care of the day-to-day things that need to be done, and only call on the IT staff when it's something that gets a little bit more complex than what they can handle. So kudos to the PD. If it wasn't for those 3 men, the whole city would be in a really bad situation as far as IT, and we're stretched thin. So we currently have 2 positions that are listed in white here, the IT director and the systems administrator. I would like to, in the next year or 2, work on getting a help desk technician. This would be an entry level, one of those tier 1 persons that I was talking about. Now, I've already talked to the judge, and the judge, because my predecessor had some conflicts with courts, so courts had completely segregated from the city network, and I've talked to the judge. She would like to come back on the network, and what they are paying for their contract IT, they're willing to take that money and set aside to help pay for a 3rd position in the IT department. So that will help quite a bit.
Gordon,
And,
can I ask a question?
yes, sir.
Is the judge willing to pay for the full cost of that employee, the full loaded cost, or just the
I
salary?
have not had that conversation with her yet, but she did tell me that every dime that she is paying towards contract right now, which admittedly with, what is it called, SWB, so the benefits and all that stuff, it probably would not be completely covered, but what they are using right now for their contract IT would cover probably 75 to 90% of that position at $35,000 to $40,000.
Okay, thank you.
So.
Just a question.
And then, again, looking back at all the cybersecurity incidents that are going on, this is only going to continue to get worse. So the city IT department is going to have to move forward because we don't have a luxury like Doc and Marty. We can't go back in time. So we have to move
Well
forward.
played. Yeah.
So, any questions for me?
What is the IT department doing to mitigate any risk of a cyber attack?
So, we
You're
currently
supposed to have
employ...
talk about that, it's top secret.
Well, no, it's not top secret, and I'll try and keep this brief, but we employ software. We use Sophos, MDR, XDR, which is, it provides endpoint security, so antivirus on the local computers and on the servers. And the MDR, XDR, MDR stands for Managed Detection and Response. So what this software does is it sits on our network on every machine that is protected with endpoint protection. And if it detects a malware, it notifies Sophos immediately, which then triggers them to email me and text me immediately that there is an incident that is occurring so that I can come in and deal with it. they will immediately start, they have staff, on staff 24/7 that manage a whole bunch of different companies. But they will begin behind the scenes to immediately start using the software that's installed on our equipment to stop the spread of any malware that we have until I can get on site and start unplugging stuff. So that hopefully we don't have an outage like Little Rock or Fayetteville or the school district or a plethora of other agencies out there. We also have very good backup software that's encrypted. Part of that CJIS stuff is everything that we do that may include some of the criminal justice information. That all has to be encrypted. So our backup software, we back up every server that we have every night. The public safety server, so all the police and fire stuff gets backed up every 8 hours. That gets backed up to a local appliance, and then at night that gets pushed to an off-site storage and locked, so that even if we did get hit with malware and it took out our entire network, or we'll pray not, if we have a disaster that took out the entire city, all of our data would still be at most 1 day behind, living out on the internet somewhere that we could build back and restore and only be a day behind. Hopefully that answers most of your questions about how we're dealing with that. Any other questions?
With regards to courts coming back onto the network, what kind of increase in work would that cause for your department if they came back?
Only a small increase, because let me count them right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Courts has 8 more workstations and 8 more employees that they would add to what we're doing now.
And we have 100 plus.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
One last thing. With the budget cuts that we incurred this year, I had originally planned on replacing the switches citywide this year. That's probably going to cost, now this is a guess, it's an educated guess, it's what my dad used to call a swag. But we have 20 switches on the network at approximately $3,000 a piece, so we're looking at in the neighborhood of $60,000. I was hoping to have that done this year. Depending on how the budget goes, hopefully we can get that done this coming year. Legislative audits, CJIS requirements, PCI compliance. We have to keep our hardware and our software up to date so that it can take the latest patches and that kind of stuff. And as our hardware and software ages out, we have to replace it in order to stay compliant with these agencies.
And the switches have aged out.
Yes. Yes.
So they're going to have
Some
to
of the
be
switches on the
replaced.
network that will not, they're basically, they're not even supported anymore. I have to rely on the fact that they have a limited lifetime warranty. So if they go down, hopefully we can get one within a week. That's kind of where we are. So, thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it. Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comments. This is for anyone who's come that wishes to make a statement to council concerning an issue. We invite you to come forward. You will have 3 minutes to make your statement. There is a sign-in sheet. Is the book up there? We ask that you please sign in with your address and everything. And then we'll ask you to please state your name and where you live to us, and begin your opportunity to talk to us tonight.
Hey, Joseph, before you start talking, is your area code 903 or 907?
903.
Dude, your handwriting's bad.
I was writing on your back.
I know.
Okay. There we go.
Mayor, how you doing?
Yes.
How you doing, guys? So, I'm not really up here about a lot of complaints tonight, which is kind of weird for me, right? But I do, Chief, I want to thank you for all the police presence in our neighborhood. I got a lot. I mean, that is my biggest complaint tonight. I'm begging you guys. I know the development people, they agreed to the 160 new houses up on Lombard area, right? Which is causing a lot of traffic down our area. I mean, if you guys drive down there, I mean, it's just chaotic in the morning. I mean, it's like Tokyo Drift in that circle. I I mean, people don't slow down, they don't care. They just want to get to work before the kids actually can get to school, which is insane. So I'm actually requesting you guys to see about maybe changing that speed limit. I know we're set at 45, which is insane to me on that little 2-lane road with actually nothing next to it, and I don't speak for the rest of the neighborhood or anybody else up there, but I care about kids in our community, and I care about that neighborhood. And I'm requesting you guys change that speed limit from 45 to maybe 35. I mean, I think it's just it's insane coming over that hill with our bus right there. I mean, we talked about moving the bus stop and all that good stuff, but it still does not relieve the stress from us coming out of our own neighborhoods, especially with people like driving just about at hell. So I'm requesting, seeing if you guys can maybe possibly look into changing that speed limit, maybe decreasing it down to 35. I mean, that's just my opinion, but yeah. Also, just wanted to see about, I know the project plan was for the sidewalk to get completed on Oak Glen, right? On the Hilldale Hilltop side that goes toward the school. We have a lot of community members in our neighborhood that walk that and go all the way towards the parks and stuff. The older guys, I don't want to call them older, but the older guys, they walk there every Saturday. They can't do it on the weekdays just because of traffic and always head on a swivel. Our kids can't walk to school because we don't have that sidewalk. We would love to see that get completed. I know it was in the project plan. We would love to see, when it might get completed, even a simple, time frame, or not even time frame, but just an answer or whatever. Also, our nightmare is here. Unfortunately, rainy season is upon us and the flooding. So we're just trying, I know our city engineer's gone or replaced or whatever, but we still haven't got an answer from you guys and would love to see possibly talking with somebody about what our actual, our plan is going forward. That's all I've got. Like I said, I really appreciate everything you guys done from the city police, the engineers, stormwater department. I mean, we love you guys. We know you're working your butts off, but just got those things.
I'm working on your lot.
She actually just texted me.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you. I wrote them all down and I'll follow up.
Your number was messed up.
I wasn't writing on the back.
Okay.
Whatever.
Any other
Make sure not stepping on it.
comments from the public? We always appreciate you being here. Joy, we're moving, there's no old business, we're moving into new business. And we will begin with our finance items. We have several of them.
All right, first up is the October ending report. Did anybody have any questions on that report for me? I know there was $77 that I was looking for that we did find, and I didn't get a chance to put it in here on page 7. But other than that, I mean, everything's, pretty much more or less going according to plan. Did anybody have any questions?
We're starting to rebuild our days of cash. Am I correct on that?
Yes. It's not in this report for closing October, but in the November report, you'll see the new infrastructure fund, fee fund, 620 will be added, and I moved that money that came in pretty much immediately to go towards water debt payments. So we've also moved, in November, we moved the half of the million that you had approved from the depreciation fund. So that yellow highlighted number on page 7 for the November ending should go down. Any questions? Oh, I did want to draw your attention to the bottom of page 3, the differences on working through the stormwater conversion. This is kind of what Pruitt was talking about. It's just some of the conversion issues and making those changes. So I've highlighted any numbers that I've changed at any point when I've given you guys this report, and I'm working through that. So I think that by the end of the year we'll be done with those and it will be clean, but I did want to draw your attention to that. Any questions?
If there are no questions, I will accept a motion to approve. Karen made the motion.
Second.
Star made the second. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. The yeses have it. Thank you very much. Now we do have a resolution next, correct?
Yes. And this is for budget adjustments. I did want to go ahead and talk a little bit about these because the bulk of them tie in with the audit report that we were presented earlier tonight. The bottom half of that list is all related to those bond funds, and I spoke about it the last time we met, about the fact that, I've tried a couple of different ways to be as transparent as possible, and there's a couple of different ways to do it. So, I went ahead and put these numbers in your document for 2024 at the beginning of the period, so you won't have these giant changes at the end of the year. But, those are all from 113, a little bit down the page, all the way almost to the end, with a few exceptions in the middle for zeroing out the transfers and stuff like that. Those are all bond related. So does anybody have any question for me on the bonds? I mean, we've been over them. We've got a 2011, a 2012, a couple of 2016s, a 2017, but we really have a really pretty low debt ratio. All of ours are not, Gary touched on this, they're not general obligation other than Amendment 78. They're specifically tied to specific revenue streams. So, any questions on those or anything else higher up on the page? Okay. All right.
If not, I will accept a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. You've passed this resolution. I think it is resolution 2023-27, if I'm correct. Okay.
All right.
Got the phone numbers.
I know some of you guys are new, so you're not familiar with this process, and you're probably wondering, why did she bring this back to us again? But the record destruction requires that it actually come to you guys 3 times. I bring it to you, I ask if I can do it. I have to wait 30 days because we don't typically do an emergency clause, there's really no need to. And then I do it, and then I bring it back to you and with an affidavit saying that I did it. So that's what this is. So does anybody have any questions?
Motion to approve Jack's disruptive behavior.
Okay, second. Lisa seconds that. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
Not the first time that's happened.
We're able to be destructive, Jack, and we appreciate that. So this is resolution number 2023-28. If I'm correct. Okay.
Yes.
All right, item number 7 is together, which I don't know if we want to do them together.
We will separate them out into 7A, real property, and 7B, which is personal property, if you do not mind. And did you hand this?
Yes, everybody should have a copy of that. That came from those questions last night. So that's just to let you guys know. We've been over this millage stuff, and I know it's a hard thing. And the calculations are hard to do, and there's a lot of moving parts there, so it's a real big estimate. It's a guesstimate, it's not even an estimate, so, but that's for your information there.
There is. Joy and I spent a significant amount of time on it today, because I wanted to be able to bring you the numbers that you've been asking about. When you talk about personal property millage, there's so many questions about what will growth look like. There are years you have more growth, which last year we did, and we also had those personal properties were reassessed. If you remember, you all got a letter, about a year ago? So those do affect things and make it better, but that same growth won't be seen this year. You also, it depends on the houses that are bought and sold here in Bryant, how many new housing developments, things like that. There's just a lot of variables in it. But we do know that looking at this year ending, we're expected to come in somewhere around 740,000, which is 1.9.
I guesstimated that too, because the numbers obviously haven't come in for November and December.
Yeah.
So, that's.
So there's some guess in that. You're speculating November and December.
Yeah.
And then what was budgeted in with the 3.0 and 3.8, that total amount was somewhere around 1.3. So that'll be an increase of around the $600,000 so that increase in that millage would bring to us to help cover several of the items that we had. So I wanted you to be able to see that. And then I also wanted you to be able to see that if we just did the 3.0 and did not go to the 3.2, that you will be talking now 1.18 in the budget, which would then turn into that, I mentioned last night, needing to reduce it at $150,000, and we would have to reduce it immediately because I had to get you a balanced budget by December 1st. So the recommendation that is coming from the administration is that we make it, in order to meet the compliance of what we have to do by the law, that the two millages be the same as that we do a 3.2 on both. This is not an increase from what you had already budgeted and had voted on that millage. I asked that intentionally not to be an increase. And so we're recommending that at this point in time. And so you do have the two pieces of legislation or ordinances there before you, and we will need to approve them one at a time, or you can have more discussion, or you can, make motions to change.
Yeah, Mayor, and I'm not opposed to this, but I want to be very clear on this. The reason we did the reason I think we did what we did was to ensure that people that owned property were not taxed more than people that did not own property in the city of Bryan.
Right.
And I understand that it's state law apparently.
Yes, it is. Yes, and I brought that last night. I did not bring the.
No, I don't want to get into legislative stuff, but that was the intent,
Okay.
I think, of the vote, was to ensure that people that owned property weren't taxed more than people that weren't.
Yeah.
In other words, people that are investing in Bryan and live here full-time, and are going to stay here, they were not supposed to be taxed quite as much. And unfortunately, state law will not allow that. But I want to be very clear on that for everything else that I was trying to say. But I'm totally in favor of what we have to do to balance everything out. But it's not, although it does balance things, it's not equal to what we were trying to do. Would you agree?
Yes, and no. I mean, your people who own property are always, whether the rate is different or not, you're going to end up paying more because you own property.
Oh, I understand, but people that own well, whatever, I'll stop on that. I'll stop.
Yeah, you were trying to have a lower rate for that.
That's what I was trying to do. People that are here full-time,
Right.
we're trying to give them a little break, but unfortunately, state law won't allow that.
It will allow us to do that.
Just to be clear on that.
This is coming back to you not because we're recommending it.
So that should be something, just to be clear, that should be something that the state legislature should certainly look at.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Right.
I will mention it. But
But I'm doing grandstanding.
No, that's okay.
I'm
I
stopping.
appreciate the honest try and the effort that went into it from everyone, but at this point, this is where we're at.
Right. I don't know who our state rep is, but I need to talk to him.
I bet we could find it.
I bet we can too.
Okay. Is there any other discussion or questions concerning this issue?
I got a slight one, I guess. If we go from whatever's proposed and the difference in 3.8, 3.0, do we have a breakdown on that?
Yeah, you should have actually a piece of
Right
paper
here.
there in front of you what
You
you
should have it in this pile
anticipate for.
somewhere.
Well, let me walk you through that. The second column there, you have a column that's 2023 that has the roughly $740,000. It's a real simple sheet of paper here.
You don't know where he is.
I'm sorry,
Here.
I haven't been through it. Thank you.
The column that says 2024 that has the budgeted at 3.2, that is the 1.3 expected, and that would be whether it was 3.0 and 3.8, the two different levels, or if it was all 3.2. We did not try to increase or reduce anything by going to the 3.2. Now, if you choose the latter one, which is to just go to a 3.0 instead of the 3.2, then you would be reducing that amount of revenue down to the 1.18, and it would result in $150,000 out of balance amount for general fund. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that, I kind of answered that question for you, Jack.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Both of you.
Joy did all the magic. I just, got to read the numbers. Any other questions? If not, we will look at 7A first, which is real property, and this is an ordinance, so if you're agreeable to it and want to move forward to a vote, you will need to suspend the rules and read first, second, and third reading by title only.
With regards to the personal property, I make a motion to suspend the rules and put on first, second, third reading by title only. I
Okay,
would with 3.2%, 3.2 mils,
okay,
as suggested.
okay. So that is
Second.
the personal property. John, you seconded that?
Jordan.
Jordan did, okay. So this is the personal property at the 3.2, and this is just to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules? All opposed, no. We don't have to do a roll call on that, do we? Okay. So now we will adopt that motion, which is that resolution of personal property tax.
Motion to adopt.
I need to read the,
You should have read by title only.
Pardon, madam.
sorry.
Of course.
I need to read that, and this
I've
is
been out of town for a
an
while.
ordinance levying a tax on all personal property tax in the city of Bryant, Saline County, Arkansas, for the purposes as provided by law. That is the title of that, and it is at the 3.2, and this is an ordinance, so we will have to have a roll call vote, if I'm correct.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I'm sorry, motion to adopt and second. I thought I had y'all do it. Okay.
Here we
We've
go.
got Lisa and Star. Now we're ready for a call.
Meyer,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Rodell,
Yes.
Harmenter,
Yes.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Mosley.
Yes.
Passed.
Okay, the ordinance has passed, and this will now become ordinance number 2023-27.
Madam Chair, do you need an emergency clause for that?
It did not require one, they just said I had to have it done to them by December.
Well,
We can add an emergency
your-
clause if you would like.
it's council.
It will not take effect until January. So even though the county is taking care of it, it won't come into effect until January, so there's no need for us.
Just making
Okay.
sure.
Thank you for asking, because I had several questions like that today myself, so. Okay, so that has now passed.
So,
Motion to suspend the rules and read by first, second, and third reading by title only on real property.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Jordan down there
Just a
did the second. Lisa did the motion to suspend the rules, and Jordan did the second.
yep.
All of those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. You have suspended the rules. I will read the title. Ordinance levying a tax on all real property in the city of Bryant, Saline County, Arkansas, for the purposes as provided by law. Do I have a motion to adopt this?
Motion?
I have a motion by Jack, a second.
Second.
By John. This is a roll call vote because it is an ordinance. City clerk?
Brown,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Mosley,
Yes.
Harmenter,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Rodell.
Yes.
Okay, you have passed this. I appreciate it very much.
It's 28.
And it is 28. I'm sorry. Should have read that for you. I'm trying to keep up here. I'm doing fairly good.
Yes, you are.
By the time I get good at this, it'll time for me to be done. Okay. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I know this was a difficult thing. I know what your intentions were. I appreciate the time and effort that you put into it and allowing us to move forward.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate your openness and transparency.
Absolutely.
And this is a perfect segue into item number 8, the 2024 budget book that you got before you. And this fulfills ACA 14-58201 for the mayor to present you a balanced budget by December 1st. You've got, so you've got the full budget book before you. You've also got the 2 summary documents that were all uploaded on the agenda, and you've got the next few days, probably a little bit over 2.5 weeks to review it. Please reach out if you've got any questions or anything that you see needs to be corrected or changed. And does anybody have any questions now? I know we had a budget workshop earlier tonight, and it went really well.
So you now have your balanced budget presented to you, and you will vote on approving that budget at our December council meeting. It will be on the agenda for full approval, so you will have about 3 weeks And if you've got questions or want to talk more about it as you get into it, please call us. I'd love to visit with you. All you need to visit.
Thanks for giving us the time to review stuff, and that's bringing it on the very last second.
Okay? We were pushing it, but we got it done.
Editorial comment required, sorry.
Okay.
Well, and usually we do this one the way we do a monthly report. We do have a approval and acceptance, like
An audit.
somebody, says, So
Yeah.
we could vote to,
So do I have a motion then for from someone to approve the audit that was presented and discussed during the budget workshop?
So moved.
Star? A second?
Second.
Jack? All in favor of approving the audit as it was presented to us, please say aye.
not
Is that
the
correct?
audit, budget book. We're not.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, the budget,
Yeah, we do
excuse me, it's my fault. I thought we were approving the budget book in December.
I thought we were too.
We present it to you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but it's just the acceptance of it. You aren't actually, when you approve it, it's gonna be the budget, it'll be a resolution. So
Okay,
this is
so-
our resolution, so.
Okay.
This is
My fault, I misunderstood part. I
So
do.
so
I'm
basis that we
totally
accept
off.
the budget book that we have it in front of us?
Yes, that's what you're
I
wanting.
got you, I got you.
Okay, I apologize for
I
that.
got
That's
you. I
my
make a
fault.
motion to approve the fact that we have the budget book in front
You
of
have
us.
accepted it. Okay, we have a motion to accept the budget book. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor of accepting the budget book, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Okay.
Does this go back into the Tom Reader kind of stuff with that part? I
And
guess
I will say this, Judge, I'm understanding more and more
it
because
does, I know it does.
Because by law, you have to have it presented to you by December 1st.
I know.
This just puts it in documentation that you have seen it before December 1st and accepted it, and I
But it goes
over
back where
that.
people couldn't read, but that's the other thing
Yeah,
altogether.
there we
Put
go.
over there.
Okay, now can we move on to the audit approval?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's the same process. I mean,
Now we will take Star and Jack. Would y'all make the motion and second to accept the audit? Not to confuse anyone, this is now number 9, the audit approval.
Number 9.
Well,
To accept the audit, is that
it was
right?
an item added very late, but I was trying really hard to get it put on here.
So the audit approval did not get
No,
added to their agenda?
it's on the very last
on the
one,
agenda.
because she printed.
It's on here.
It's on
Okay.
here.
You may have one that said that it didn't.
It's not
all right, I'm working on Auburn.
Approved correctly.
Several updates.
Yeah, I think you had to print it after 4:30.
sit next to
Everybody goes,
I will be honest with you, we did not know that we were going to get to approve the audit until about noon today. And we scrambled
to
because
be on tonight.
for it to be on tonight means that we will meet the deadlines for, especially for our bond ratings.
I just think it's awesome we have it all approved.
We got it.
Almost.
You have to go back to those
So,
days. For multiple years at the same time.
audit approval, do I have a motion to approve the audit?
We did.
Yeah.
Do that, okay. Everybody okay with that now? Okay,
Just about.
okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
finance was rough.
Thank you, Joy.
Yes.
We're bouncy there, wasn't it?
Okay.
See what Ashley's got.
Ashley, this is another thing that we have worked on feverishly today, and I will tell you that I will ask, as you progress through this, if you want to add, I think it is number 13, the actual entertainment district, making that, I would want a formal motion to add that to the agenda, because it was added a little late this afternoon.
Number 12?
Number 12, yes. So, let's get started on this piece and see where you want to take us as a council, because we did talk about this last night.
So number 10 is an ordinance allowing us to establish an entertainment district, either temporary or permanent. This does not actually establish any kind of entertainment district right now. This just is allowing us to establish one. It lays out all the standards that would be needed to establish. And I did, this is modeled after our neighboring town, who already has an entertainment district. If you printed it off a couple days ago, there were a couple of their names still in there. That has all been corrected on the one that would be signed tonight.
So you took the restaurant names out or not?
Are the restaurant names in there?
In the resolution, the restaurant names are in there for the temporary district.
Yes.
It's a temporary, right?
Yes. Now, this is the first, this is the, in your order in your packet, I need you to look at the one that says ordinance, and it says an ordinance to establish the standards for creation.
Oh,
It'll be
sorry.
the next page.
Didn't have
And I
my-
apologize for that being out of order, we've done this multiple times today, but we have to.
This long one?
Yeah.
Yes, the long one.
This is the one, we did review it last night and went over it.
I'm
This is
sorry.
the enabling legislation for doing entertainment districts. It states what permanent one we need to have for standards, what a temporary one we need to have, how someone would apply for it, just the facts of the regulation on alcohol, things like that. As we discussed last night, an entertainment district is not about having a bar out in the street. An entertainment district is really allowing a city to have a couple of buildings or for a temporary event to where someone can get an alcoholic beverage at one location, walk out to the music that may be playing out on the street and do that legally. Right now, you can't do that. And if someone does, they have to jump through 100,000 hoops with ABC.
Right. So I'm assuming this covers Fall Fest too? or
It could, if Fall Fest applies.
Did you already asked that question? I apologize.
No,
if you
no,
did.
this is there can be permanent districts.
Explain that. You did a good job last night.
Okay, a
Explain
permanent one is a very defined area, and one that is used right now in Benton to do that is Valhalla.
Where?
Valhalla.
Where'd you say that?
In Benton.
What town did you say?
Benton, yes.
I don't know that town. Go ahead.
It's hard to know that town, but that's who did it.
I'm never going to
And because they have a situation there where they have an owner who has two buildings,
Right.
two separate entities, lots of back and forth between those two entities, they're in the same building.
Right.
So, but legally, according to rules, you can't take your beer from this location to that location
Right.
legally. So that became a permanent entertainment district to allow them the flexibility of starting here for dinner, going upstairs with a group into this, the flexibility of it. That will be a permanent one. There is no plans to make a permanent one that encompasses a huge amount of land mass like Bishop Park. That would just be, no.
No, I understand.
But you do have opportunities for what's called temporary, where if you're having an event, a special event, could be a Fall Fest, could be a Pops in the Park, could be a Santa Block Party, that is for one night, a defined amount of time, definite streets. This is where the music's going to be. There's someone there who legally can sell alcohol in their facility, that you have that ability to define that temporarily. Now, permanent
by the
districts.
council, right?
Mhm,
Approved
yes.
by the council.
That's my next thing there. Permanent districts come back to you as an ordinance. Temporary districts come back to you as a resolution. And there is an application process that involves Truitt's office, that he has to gather all the information, all the documentation for that to be brought to you in a resolution to approve. Okay? So none of this is just done willy-nilly. None of it is done just through our office deciding something. It can be a group of restaurants that get together and decide, we want to have Restaurant Saturday for Cinco de Mayo. And they come to us and say, we want, we're all within this parking lot together.
I understand.
They come to us with that. None of that can happen without this first piece of ordinance.
I understand.
So that's what this
I've got a
is.
couple of small questions.
Okay.
All right, so normally in an entertainment district like that, you don't allow through traffic.
You can or you can't.
Okay.
Yes.
So actually this is a you question too. So if we do this and that's not a vendor, but that restaurant owner with the ABC license, if they overserve someone and someone walks out there and does something stupid,
That's not liability on the city for having an entertainment district.
Okay.
That, yes, that would be,
Well, they're gonna sue us anyway,
yes.
of course. So, and are we gonna require, off-duty security for an entertainment district or not?
The way, go ahead.
Well, they would.
I'm sorry if I'm asking hard questions.
No, this would all go through the police department also, in determining if we can have a temporary one. It would all go through the police department, and ultimately it would be their decision on what they think, mayor's decision, council's decision on whether they would need to hire security, if we needed officers there.
So our code, our community, what's your new title?
Community development?
That if he decided, if he decreed, which he probably should, decreed that they need to have security officers at each street entrance, that could be a requirement. But that's not in our ordinance, is it?
Well, actually, the way the ordinance reads is that, first of all, the police have to be involved in making a set of standards. Everything has to be posted appropriately, and we have the right to say we don't have enough staffing to even approve this. So in other words, if there is another event that we know is going on in town, and they ask for an event, we have the right to say no.
My concern is the Bearded Wonder, although he's great, and he's Mark's son, but that's a lot of pressure to put on him.
Well, let me repeat.
I'm not making, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, Bob, he's not making the decision.
Okay.
The council's making the decision.
Okay,
He is collecting the application.
okay,
And in that application, when you read this, there's a whole list of things
I
that
understand.
have to be done before you can have a temporary district. He may pull that application, he may work with the chief, but it comes back to you as the council. To approve.
Absolutely.
So does he make the presentation, or does the patron come in and make the presentation?
He would make the presentation, and the patron could be, I mean, you know.
And there's a section in there underneath
Yes.
that list, the last one, number 7, that basically states, if there's any additional information that my position sees fit that's needed for the application, then that can be required of the application. But it still comes back to council.
It gives broad discretion.
I understand. I just don't want to put undue pressure
I appreciate that.
on you
Appreciate that.
and on chief to have to do that. I mean, I don't mind making people come out up here. I mean, we've done that for years, it's fine, but,
Well,
but anyway, that's my concern with that. And the only other one was on this, I know you just pulled it from another ordinance, but I would strike the dance clubs because I don't like the inference of that. Because normally a dance club has really nice steaks that get on expense reports, so I would probably strike that.
I will say that does come from statute. That is
state law.
Yes, it is.
That is the description, and it is the description that's in state law. That's why. it's-
Footloose, and you're not allowing people to dance?
Jordan, I've never been to such places, but,
And basically what that is just defining in a broad sense what it can be meant by entertainment.
yeah, okay, whatever.
If you want to strike that, that is fine with me.
I would-
We will edit it and strike
I
it
would,
out.
I mean, I don't know if we can do this, we haven't approved anything, but I would suggest we strike that and get sued over it.
Okay.
That it is listed in the state
I don't
statute.
really care.
That is up to you all.
Yeah, just,
For my clarification's sake, this ordinance is simply establishing the process to apply for
Yes.
any of the above
That's
things. This isn't saying.
This is not doing anything. Now, the next two on there, we're fixing to get
Right,
there.
that's where the temporary comes in.
I understand, but that still shouldn't be on there.
So,
Unless you want that in your backyard.
Who, me?
Both of y'all over there, I guess, right?
like I said, I'm fine with it. I think what I will need you guys to decide, there's a couple of things you need to decide tonight. You want to vote on this tonight. If you want to vote on this, I would need an amendment to the ordinance that's presented, if you want to change that part of it, and we would vote on that amendment first, and amend the ordinance that's being presented to you, and then we would vote on that ordinance by motion. So I'm,
Never mind, I withdraw my statement.
okay.
Why are you looking over here at us, like we're the
Because
fools
I can't look at
out?
Jason because he's already told me to stop.
Anyway, this is your ordinance, this is your ability to make this decision. I want you to determine if you want to make that decision now, or if you want to postpone the decision. It's your,
I make a motion that we suspend the rules to read first, second, and third reading by title only.
okay? I have a motion to suspend the rules and read first, second, and third reading by title only. Do I have a second to that?
Second.
I have a second to that. All in favor to suspend the rules?
Just clarification. Is this where we're at?
We're on the ordinance. It was one page out.
Number 10.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on the ordinance.
Yeah.
We have to do
Come
the
back to the
ordinance first.
resolution.
And it is listed first. It's just that this was out.
Okay, let me have those motions again, if you don't mind.
Okay, Lisa made the motion to suspend the rules, and John? Jason, I'm sorry, Jason.
Trying to give me.
I can't read my writing. Seconded that. All in favor to suspend the rules? Say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Okay. I will now read, that has passed, I will now read the ordinance title. An ordinance to establish the standards for the creation of permanent or temporary entertainment districts pursuant to Arkansas Code Section 1454, 1412, and for other purposes. I will now accept a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second to adopt this ordinance. This is an ordinance, so we will vote by roll call.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Rodell,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Mosley,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
And this does not include an emergency clause. I would ask that an emergency clause be added to this so it can be effective immediately and we can move on to 11 and 12. So if someone would like to make a motion to add an emergency clause.
Make a motion to add emergency clause.
Second.
Storm seconded that. Is that a roll call vote?
It is, just so.
Okay. I'm letting my clerk get caught up here.
Carmenter,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Mosley,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Rodell.
Yes.
Okay, you passed the emergency clause. Thank you very much.
This 29.
And this is 29,
Mayor, that,
ordinance 29.
yes, okay, I'm sorry.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
Do we need to add number 12? Oh, I'm sorry, Ashley.
Yes, yes, a second, yes.
I just want, I got a little bit confused. Okay, we had a motion and second to add the emergency clause. And then did we vote on the emergency clause?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
He did a
sorry.
roll call vote on that.
Okay.
Yes, I know, there's a lot of different pieces to
And make sure we,
Okay.
okay, next we have a resolution. And Jason, it doesn't matter if you want to do it now or do it after 11.
We do have two other items to vote on, so if you want to go ahead and add number 12, you can make a motion to add number
Okay.
12 to the agenda.
Make a motion, we add number 12 to the agenda.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and second. Jason made the motion, Lisa made the second to add item number 12, Crave Entertainment District Ordinance to the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Thank you very much. Now, we can now discuss 11 and 12. I'm going to pass this down to y'all because you asked for a map on the resolution. You come in. Yes, we got two different,
That's different. That's the next thing.
okay. There are two items now that we will discuss. The first one on the list is a resolution for a temporary entertainment district. And I'm passing that map to y'all as per requested last night. And that resolution is for the December 9th event that we're going to have. And the defining of that, for that temporary district, you will notice it defines the time from 5 to 9, the date. It also, if you'll notice on the resolution, it's stated there's no other events in the city that will cause the city to be at risk of adversely affecting our welfare and safety. We're requesting it just for that evening. You've been given an exemplar that shows you the actual map, and what it really is, it's Progress Way between Copper Mule and Crave. It is not the other businesses along the street, but it includes those two because both of those serve alcohol. And then the open lot that's right there is where there will be some music and people strolling and looking at the Christmas trees. So
True, did the applicant meet all the requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I went through the whole list of them.
Traffic be closed, I'm assuming,
We're discussing that. There was some parking that we wanted to allow in the middle, but there is nothing in the entertainment district ordinance that says you cannot have traffic parking within the entertainment district.
That's a concern.
When I was driving, I'd avoid that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people are gonna, but
What I
yeah.
was thinking is that, there's a gym right there, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that would be,
Well,
have we talked about?
let me back up.
Sorry.
Two different things, okay? You're talking about the event itself. As we've talked to Bart just about the event, whether it's an entertainment district or not, we talked about closing that off. And there is a way around behind that you can do that and allow the gym to still have access to the gym, okay? Also, there is, how can I explain this? There is not a requirement that just because you carry your hot chocolate with peppermint schnapps from Copper Mule down to watch the trees, that you're walking in the middle of the street. The streets don't have to be open for you to stroll in the middle of them. You see what I'm saying? It's a, if you prefer it that way, we will work to get that closed off.
So when we did the block parties,
I know, you did the
we
homework.
shut down Main Street, and Progress Way wasn't open yet.
Yes.
And there was still plenty of we had thousands of people there. So I mean, it's fascinating what people will do when they want to go to see something.
Yeah.
I don't think it hurt those few parking spots down the street, honestly.
But it's okay.
In the grand scheme of things, it's pretty few for the amount of people that's going to be there.
And it is fine, let me say this, if you want the street closed, we will close the street. There's nothing in this resolution that talks about it.
But I prefer the street to be closed, honestly.
Okay, I'll close the street.
And the other question is, those businesses along the way that aren't necessarily entertainment businesses, have we communicated to them, I mean, like, when we normally do
That's what
things,
John was asking.
did you already ask that?
That's what John was asking.
Let me go back.
Okay.
Let's not confuse the two topics you're having.
Well, no, but this is even for this temporary, right?
Yeah, we're talking.
Have we let the business owners in those businesses know, your business is basically going to be hampered from 5 to 9 o'clock? Well, it could be hampered, it could be helped.
Can I go back? Listen, can I listen to me?
I'm listening. I'm listening to both of you saying that at once. I'm listening.
You're talking two different things. We were going to do this event, period,
Right,
whether it's entertainment district or not.
right.
We have met and talked to everyone on that street and encouraged them to participate in this event.
Yep.
Whether you have a temporary district or not.
I don't think that's question.
No, but he's asking me about, have we talked to the businesses to know that this event is going to hamper their business if we close the street? What I'm saying is don't get the two mixed together. The plan that we're doing for the event is separate from the plan for the temporary entertainment district.
Right.
All the temporary entertainment district does is allows me to walk from Copper Mule or Crave with my beer in my hand or my peppermint schnapps and walk into the entertainment with them. That's all it does.
Right.
The event itself if we want the street closed, it's gonna close the street. And we've already been working with Bart Ferguson for the last month and a half, and doing that with his businesses.
Right.
And including them in it, giving those that want to participate, and making sure that the gym has access.
There's a nail salon in there also that, well, they're open, I know, past 5.
Yes.
No, Robert, that's what I'm asking, is that they've all been communicated with. Is all I
We
meant.
have gone door to door.
No, that's all I meant. That's all I meant.
But
And I think, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I think that what I was more getting at was that if our threshold to close the streets is the entertainment district, as opposed to if we're having an event in that area and we're okay with the streets being open.
Case by case basis.
yes, it's a case-by-case basis, but I will say that I think the things that are concerning you about closing, having the streets open, don't really matter whether you're having a drink or not. Are you comfortable having a big event where you're asking people to come in and walk around and stroll through the trees and up and down the sidewalks? Are you wanting it to be something where cars aren't driving through? And if you're wanting that, then you gotta close the street, whether you have a temporary district or not.
I think safety-wise, not counting the district, you've got kids out there just running across the streets and all that maybe.
And there was gonna be a large portion of the middle of that closed.
Right.
Yes, that has been the plan all along.
And as Rob
So,
said,
I'm just, yeah.
the businesses are aware and they're
Yeah,
okay
I'm
with
good.
it.
Oh, yeah.
My other concern is public safety about the kids, is that
Yeah.
concern?
Yeah.
Because parents, sometimes if they have too much hot chocolate, they might not notice their kids.
During the application process, you could implement within 20 feet, you have to
Yes.
notify a business. We do this when we build
That's what I
a
meant.
development, right? You do a search and you have to notify everybody that's adjacent to that. So it could be the same thing, it's like,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of things that can be added into that process.
Right.
But just so you know, the city, in planning this event, whether it's an entertainment district or
No,
not,
I'm good.
we have been meeting with the businesses for the last month.
right.
And looking at where to block things off. And the biggest area that was going to be blocked off was from the area around Blue House and that area, that whole walk. That was the area for certain down to Crave that is going to be blocked off. We will let you interject in on the planning process on that, and if you want it closed in another way, you can have it closed in another way. That was going to happen whether there's an entertainment district or not.
I think where the mass of the people are going to congregate is where you want to close it.
And we've got it already closed. That has already been
Motion to approve.
so, I want y'all to know what we.
And also, it's creating a temporary, permanent entertainment district does not negate any criminal laws.
No.
Correct.
So you could still get a public intoxication and
Motion to
disorderly
approve
conduct.
again.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution.
I have a question. You mentioned earlier that the street would be closed. So that's what they're voting on, right?
No,
No.
we're voting on the
Voting on the resolution.
resolution
I
to
understand that.
with or without the street closed. That's just what we're voting on.
Okay.
This resolution states the development of the temporary district, period. We've discussed the safety issues, and I've made, we're closing a portion of it. We will double check the security of the police and Bart and on it and get it all closed for complete safety.
Come on, chief.
But that piece of it, that type of language is not in the resolution, so.
But that's the liability of the business owner.
Thank you.
So we're voting on the temporary.
Yes, ma'am.
We're voting on this for the Christmas jar.
So it's a resolution to replace a temporary entertainment district.
Yeah, just like we've done at Fall Fest. Just like we've done at Fall Fest before, basically, right?
Yes, Santa's Block Party did it.
Right, just like we did that year.
It's just that ABC
Fall Fest, air
decided.
show, block parties.
The thing that was
All
done
over.
over
There's
and
not
over.
been any issues anywhere with anyone.
Motion to approve once again.
Okay, we have a motion second, Wade and,
Robin,
Wade.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Bob
all in
started it.
favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Okay,
29.
yes, resolution 29. Okay, now, y'all can curse me, we've got one more.
Now we have an ordinance to establish a permanent entertainment district. And this is, there's two businesses at this location at 3429 Marketplace. There's Suite 200, which is Crave Restaurant, and then there's Suite 300, which is Cracksing.
What is it?
Cracksing. It is an axe throwing.
But it's inside of Crave.
Yes. There is a interior door that leads from Cracksing to Crave.
Without an exterior door for the exterior.
Yes.
Correct.
So once they're inside the four walls of that restaurant, they stay inside the four walls of that restaurant.
And according to state law, in order to bring alcohol from Crave Restaurant through that interior door into Cracksing, the axe throwing business, there has to be a permanent entertainment district.
So this entertainment district only includes the interior of this business?
You got it.
In the exterior, and I did a supplement description, which would include any,
They have a patio.
They have a patio up front.
Is there a gate around the place? Or
Yes.
Just ask, I'm just saying there
There
is.
is.
Fine.
I think the ABC requires that if
Yes, yeah, they do. Yeah, the patio has a gate.
All right, so the Crave Entertainment District is really just for this address?
And you got it.
Just, yes,
That's all it is.
just for the
it's
interior.
allowed them to run
door.
operations like they built it.
I understand.
Can I make a motion to suspend the rules?
You can do that, John. I appreciate it. John?
I've got one other small question. Ashley,
Yes.
does this convey if the business changes hands?
Yes. The Crave Entertainment District would attach, well, it's attached to the two businesses at those addresses. So if those businesses go away, this goes away.
Would it be the owner's name though? Would this, is this?
That's my question.
In the-
That's what
This is about the boundaries.
That's,
This is about the boundaries.
We understand, but is the application in the owner's name DBA Crave? So I'm asking, that way if you sold Crave,
that's my
that
question.
person would have to come back to council or come back to Truett and say, hey, this is what I want to do.
So if a dance club goes in there afterwards and the address takes the business's don't report that place. And it says Crave Entertainment District, which, well, never mind. But if they did that, could they establish that they have an entertainment district?
Yes, but that dance
Well, I want it to be
would have to
Crave
go
Dance
through.
Club.
Can we revoke that entertainment district?
Yes, at any time.
Revoke the
You can
ordinance.
undo an ordinance at any time.
Yes.
And like I said, this is not,
I know, I'm just asking.
this is establishing the physical boundaries of something. And the physical boundaries are at that address inside those walls.
I'm sorry.
Does that make sense?
It does. All the question is, can we say, are we allowed to say that it can't be transferred to the new owner or whatever?
You would just need to revoke the ordinance would be the best way to do it.
I understand. Because that makes it an asset, you know that, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's my point. The real estate, the price just went up for this real estate if we pass this ordinance. Okay.
Yes.
But also enable the business owner to do business.
No, I know that. I know that.
Okay, now, are we ready to, we have a motion to suspend the rules by John and by Lisa.
Did we read it yet?
That's what I'm fixing it all in favor of suspending the rules.
No.
Suspend the rules, okay. Say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, so now we'll read it. Let me get back to the right one. There we go. An ordinance to establish and lay off the Crave Entertainment District pursuant to Arkansas Code Section 14-54-1412, declaring an emergency and prescribing other matters pertaining to thereto. So this does have the emergency clause. Okay. I've now read it. I entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Thank you, Wade.
Second.
And Star, second. I have a motion and a second to adopt. This is an ordinance, so it will be a roll call vote. Mr. Clark?
Henson,
Yes.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Mosley,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Herminer,
Yes.
Riddell.
Yes.
Okay, motion has passed. Now I need to pass the emergency clause. Do I have a motion to pass the emergency clause?
Motion to pass emergency.
Wade says yes. Do I have a second?
Second.
John seconded it. Is it a roll call on emergency? Okay.
Riddell,
Yes.
Herminer,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Mosley,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Okay. And this should be ordinance 30?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you all. I know that that will be a tough one to walk through. I appreciate your patience with me. Very much so.
Sure, Madam Clerk, I'll have a 5-minute recess, please.
I am glad to do that because the last part of this is not going to take long, so.
We're good, because,
I'll give you a 5-minute recess to
yep, I saw George jump up, and I thought, me too.
Okay. We will recess. I'll call it. You can recess for 5 minutes. I'll bang the gavel. everything. I know it was tough, I know it's kind of confusing, and I appreciate all the input and everybody doing what you did, but it's gonna help our community developer, who is up next, who is working diligently to develop great things for our city. So the next agenda item, I know we lost Rob, I'm figuring he'll come running back.
That's right.
Okay. No, you're fine.
Get my wife out of here.
Yeah. Good?
You ready?
I think we are. Are we all ready to get back?
You want my coat?
Okay.
I got a coat.
This is the easiest thing on the agenda tonight.
Hope so.
Pruitt?
I don't think it's near as complicated as what we just got through.
I hope you have this roads.
To pop up on the screen.
Pull up the subdivision map, the subdivision plat. So this is Jacob's Corner. This is at the corner of Hilldale and Rudolph. If you're familiar with North Haven, we're in the planning area also, should start with that. Not in the city limits, but out in north in the city planning area. The request that's before you tonight is a sidewalk waiver along Hilldale Road. I'm going to move over to the map real quick. Talking specifically about a sidewalk that would have run through here. Planning, they've already waived the Hatch Street improvements, but the sidewalk has to come to y'all for approval. If you're not familiar with this intersection, this is Owen Creek that runs through the middle of this floodplain, flood wet. So this road tapers off quite a bit over there, and ultimately found that the sidewalk, and to a degree the Hatch Street improvements, would have been very difficult in that area. So that's why it's come to you for a sidewalk waiver.
Truett, I'm sorry, I may have missed, what's the cross street there?
Rudolph.
Rudolph, okay.
Appropriate for this time of year.
Very appropriate, yes.
Yes.
So how, we waived the half street improvements because they're impossible to do, but we're eventually gonna have to do them, or not?
Waived the Hatch Street improvements in that location, mostly to the degree of getting through that floodplain, floodway area. And this is also the area, that intersection flooded really bad. This is where the pictures were of, cars underwater and everything, but due to development in the area, they've been able to mitigate the majority of that problem and don't expect that to continue.
So you're waiving the sidewalk?
Yeah, what's in front of you tonight is the sidewalk.
Where was the discussion at planning commission? Were they okay with doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this has gone through planning commission with this recommendation. They did do the Hatch Street improvements and the sidewalk on Rudolph there, so those are done. We're also talking about 12 lots here, so the majority of the land not as developable, actually in a lot of ways not developable because of the floodplain, floodway in the area.
Can you
The
see,
Oak Creek runs right
can you
through.
see where that connects into the bigger picture instead of that little, are you able to show that?
Sure, if
Pull it up on GIS.
pull up the GIS map.
I mean, after Mr. McIntyre just talked about sidewalks,
Right.
kind of hesitant to,
Completely understand. Up here. So this is the property. Okay, pardon me, hold on. I'm moving for you. So this is, here, let me drop to the side. This is the property that we're talking about, those lots that are developed. Majority along Rudolph here, and then 2 lots on Hilldale.
Are there any other sidewalks on that road?
Yeah, what about like North Haven or any of those? No?
They have sidewalks interiorly.
But not on Hill.
I don't believe they have sidewalks out on.
There's a big ditch right there too, right?
Huge ditch.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason for the,
I believe maybe Windrush has some sidewalks there on Rudolph, but once again, they constructed.
And they're doing it on the east.
Yeah, I'd say it's the developers, when the developers also doing the buildings, so when those get completed, the sidewalks will be built. So you go out there right now, you're not going to see any sidewalks. But it's customary that when the lot gets developed, the sidewalk is built with the lot. So the improvement is done out here on Brook, but the sidewalk will go in as the houses themselves develop.
Will that have any impact on the master plan for sidewalks in that area by not having them there?
Well, we've got what's called a complete street ordinance and a complete street plan, so the plan is for all roads to have sidewalks that are ADA compliant. So yeah, there would be an impact to that. The right-of-way is being received. We're not getting that because it's a planning area, but the right-of-way is being dedicated to the county. So that if it ever becomes the city of Bryant, the right-of-way will be there for an improvement to be done.
I make a motion to waive the sidewalk on Jacobs Corner.
Have a motion, do I have a second to approve this sidewalk waiver?
Second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the sidewalk waiver as requested for Long Hillsdale Road. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Okay. Thank you very much. And this had gone through DRC, I sat in DRC and listened to it, I sat in Planning Commission and listened to it. And that discussion was had and everybody in both of those groups were all in favor of doing that. So thank you. Okay, the next item, number 14. I will handle this since Charlotte, I guess it's not, were you going to handle it, Ashley? No? Okay. This is resolution from Councilmember Rodell.
And this is a resolution to implement a hiring freeze for the city where all positions would be frozen, and every position to rehire would have to come through council.
Okay, before we go further, Joy, I'd like to apologize to you for last month. I lost my temper. It wasn't necessarily pointed at you, but it came across that way, and I sincerely apologize. You did a wonderful job for the city of Bryant, and I appreciate you immensely, and I apologize if I came across as being a grouchy old man. I did not mean to be that way to you, okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
second that.
Right, and I apologize for being that way. But I was frustrated at the process that I thought was clear. It wasn't your fault, and I'm sorry that you were standing there when I voiced my frustration.
So this hiring freeze is proposed to go through January 1st of 2025 or until council wants to revoke it, whichever is first. So the latest it would go until is January of 2025.
And it does allow for us to go ahead with police, fire, animal control, and public works. It is on the other general fund positions. I think y'all have had this for a while. And Rob, you were able to review it and help
Yes,
us
ma'am.
get it together?
I'm good.
So, okay. Do I have a motion or a second?
A motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Now, along with now that resolution, we do have two positions, actually three positions. Okay, I'm sorry, resolution 30, I get ahead of myself.
You're seeing the end.
Yes. We have two different positions. One of them has two open and one of them has one open. You were sent these justifications ahead of time to talk about the requests that we're asking you to be able to fill them. The first one is item number 15, and it is to approve the recruitment and hire for human resources assistant. Human Resources has not expanded their numbers of staff in years. They're doing the same work with 3 people that they've done for a long time, so losing that assistant position it's absolutely critical. And right now also with the other things that we're dealing with our staff, so we are asking you to please approve us moving ahead with posting this position and hiring it.
Madam Mayor, based on the description and the justification that the HR director has given, I make a motion we approve it.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve posting and moving forward with hiring that position. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
No.
Okay. We have one no. Motion passes, and that is not a resolution or ordinance. It is simply a motion. The second one that is being brought to you is two parks laborers. One has been vacant for several months, and we did not go forward with that hiring process. The other one became open because we were able to actually use Mr. McCorkle in a leadership role, which we were very excited to have him. He's way overqualified. But both of these, you can see the amount of work that's coming up in the spring. This is a request for them to be hired by the end of January, so this will not necessarily be an immediate hire. We know it takes a while, but, you know, the previous one you just approved, I think will move maybe a lot faster, we will see. But you read those justifications. Are there any questions that anybody has about those?
I have a
Chris is here to
question.
answer. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know how much we're spending in overtime, if we are spending any money in overtime wages.
Chris, do you want to, I'm going to defer these things to Chris and Joy.
The question about just parks or in general?
Well, we're in parks now, so yeah, it's parks.
Yeah, we don't spend very much on overtime. Most of our guys do get comp time. They load up on comp time in the summer, and then they take that comp time this time of year. So we haven't gone over any of our overtime budget.
Chris, how hard would it be to wait until March to fill these positions?
Well, February we hit the ground running. All the leagues start, tournaments will start rolling, everything starts growing. And these aren't easy positions to fill. It's hard to find good folks to fill these positions. So just giving us some time to start the process. Yeah, we'd be in big trouble if we didn't have these filled by March. Tournaments and league and everything we could get done.
Were these positions included in your budget for 23 or 24?
Any other questions? I would defer to your desire if you want to make a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Jack, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second to approve the hiring of the two parks laborers by the end of January, so we can have another month or so as we move through that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
No.
Okay. Motion has passed. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask Chris, and this may also involve Tim. These both, and y'all verify my understanding, there's nothing to vote on either one of these items. These are informational items, but they will be coming back at some point in time. We hope to.
We just wanted you to be aware and ask for your blessing to have start these conversations. Especially with the Oak Glen, we want to work on a plan with the property owners, Public Works, come up with a plan and a budget. Come back with that, and kind of the way we envision it happening is that there would be some understanding that we wouldn't take the property until we have the plan and the funding. Until we have the plan and the funding, we wouldn't take the property. We don't want to give the expectation that once the city had the property, there would be something that immediately we're ready to do. And so basically, we just need some time to work that out and bring that back to you, some sort of memorandum of understanding between the subdivision and the city. The Coral Ridge is
let's go into this bit on Oak Glen a little bit before we jump to Coral Ridge, because I want them to understand this is kind of a new way of looking at a few things. Quite often, when you have a situation like we've had at Oak Glen, it's private property, or someone else owns it, so the city going in and doing certain things makes it a little bit more difficult to do. So looking at this opportunity for us to say, okay, so what if we work with the POA, the way that some of this property is laid out and the issues, to say they give it to us when we have the money to complete the entire project. That would allow us to really dig in and get that drainage work completed and done, at the same time of leaving them with some park space. So in that essence, we're looking at a new type of partnership that could be a win-win. This, like he said, this is not anything we want to take now, because we need to work with the POA, we need to get pricing, and then we need to find that money to do the project, because it won't be a cheap project. But they're just wanting you to have some idea that we're beginning to have some conversations like this, which is a different way of looking at things. Does that help?
Yeah, because I think the last discussion, the fix for this is like 3.8 million. Yeah.
It wouldn't be cheap anyway.
Oh, no.
This does allow us to start looking towards a solution rather than saying, there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That's really what this is for y'all to be aware and to know we're going to start talking about some of these things. It'll all come back to you before anything is done.
And there's other areas in the city that are not as severe as this, but have similar problems.
Some of them are in the same scenario, some of them are in budget areas where the actual private property, butts up, but maybe this is a way to start figuring out how to bridge those issues.
How do we do this?
I like the discussion. That's good.
Okay.
And for this particular, we're talking about 3 different pieces of property, correct? Correct. Okay. Sure.
And if I'm correct, this one little strip up here had to be constructed to aid the emergency personnel to come in to help with the flooding victims. Am I correct? Yeah.
So it's a new opportunity on the horizon, trying to think a little bit outside the box. I know our friends have been here and concerned about the area, and we're concerned also. I wish we had our fix that we could just snap our fingers and do it, but this is a beginning way of looking at some things that we're going to progress through. If y'all are, we will continue and bring it back for further discussion. Okay.
Coral Ridge is cleaner, not as many moving parts. I think the last we understood, Mayor, that it'd be a $400 a year bond that we would be responsible to pay. But it's a good opportunity for a nice pocket park north of the interstate in that area. We do need more parks.
Kensington is right across the street. It's a good piece of land.
It's a good piece of land.
It's not a floodplain. It doesn't need to be dug out and retrenched. We will have sewer, water, electricity already on it. So that will have to be approved by resolution next month by y'all. But we wanted to bring it to you and give you a heads up and an opportunity to tell us if you don't want us to move forward or not. It is something that, at some point we'll need to write a grant and get some equipment or a pavilion or something, but just having that land that way.
So Rhonda, this one is next month, the Coral Ridge?
Yes.
Coral Ridge.
But this one's later discussion. Okay.
I included the picture.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Yes, that's way down.
And my only concern about this was a similar situation that we've experienced in our neighborhood, that is a piece of property the city's been maintaining. I say city, the parks have been maintaining for 20 years. Because when I was on parks, I asked the POA, I said, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to see playground equipment? No, we don't. There's no place to park. There's no access to it. They didn't want playground equipment, so then it consists, I just don't want to take on stuff that is a maintenance drain. So by postponing this to next month, then it gives an opportunity to go back to parks, because I think it's a valuable. Unfortunately, you didn't have a quorum last month, so hopefully you'll have one this month for them to interact with it. I think it's a valuable.
I don't know if there's any of those homes that have sold yet. I don't know
No.
if there's any residents, so.
They haven't. That's one nice thing about it is if it's there and we own it and we put a sign out that's going to be a park, they'll know when they buy it. But I think it is good for us to make sure
it's a much
parks.
different piece of property for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive by.
Cow pasture all around it.
Yes, there is.
Yeah,
It's out there close to you.
Much more.
It's across the street.
Development friendly for a nice pocket park.
The only thing we have to be careful of is, at one time, we had all these little pieces of property all over the city. And
What are we
we
gonna
ended
do?
up having to sell, well, we had to sell them all, that's how we bought that lot down by Lowe's, right? But the maintenance, and Chris, I love what you're doing, not nothing negative, but we have to be careful because your guys have to go out and weed eat and mow, and ends up costing. So we just have to be careful when we start acquiring little pieces of property.
And there's no end in sight to that corner at Lexington.
Well, and to that point, I mean, this goes back to that mowing contract, correct? The contract that we have where we.
Yeah, we outsource the smaller parks.
Right, so can you provide that information at the next council meeting as part of that?
What the
If we're
increased
gonna-
cost.
If it will increase how
What
much or how much.
that dollar amount is gonna be?
Sure.
So that way,
That's a fair question.
And I'm not trying to sound negative.
No,
I think it's a very legitimate concern.
all right.
You know, it's, we already have in our planning ordinances, that neighborhoods or developers are giving us parks land. So it's going to continue to be part of what we do moving forward. I think especially the north side of the interstate where there is more developable property that isn't in the floodplain. If we're going to get to a point where there's parks pretty close to every neighborhood, they're going to have to be pocket parks. There's not going to be, besides Midland, large parks there. So if our goal at some point is connectivity citywide and parks within 2 miles of your house, these will be very important strategically in our future.
Does anybody remember any discussion from years back? I mean, there was some discussion when I was on parks, and I don't know if I ever came to council about when we take these pieces of property in from the developer, that there are enhancements on there, like playground equipment or anything like that. Was there a discussion on that?
There was discussion about requiring certain amenities,
That's a word, yeah.
but I'm not sure if that was ever
It was
passed within
codified
the
with the
zoning.
law.
I think it was just a discussion that we would appreciate if they would do so. But I don't think we ever enacted anything that said they were required to spend X amount on landscaping or anything like that. But
I think Spring Hill Park's a great example of how popular these could be as long as they're nice. And low cost to maintain, but very popular among the residents.
well, it's a great idea, I'm just concerned about
No,
that.
it's
I think to, kind of my point for it is that, I mean, we don't know, I think it's smart to at least have an idea as to how much more the mowing is going to cost, because, I mean, we end up with 50 of these on the north side of the interstate, like all of a sudden that could impact budgeting and you know, how much we're having
We can
to spend on
definitely.
maintenance, so.
no problem.
That's a good question. We'll bring that
It'll be
back.
similar to what we've already paid for some of this.
Right, and I think that that's easy to get.
Probably almost exactly.
It's pretty grown up right now, is he gonna get it, like,
Actually, we were out there just a few weeks ago, and it was in pretty good shape, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'll have to see.
Okay, check on it and see, because we went out there about 3 weeks ago. I took Chris out to look
Okay, I
at
haven't
it
been
before we
over
did
there,
anything.
because I've been on.
And I was actually pretty surprised at how nice it was. So, yeah, that's a good question, Scott.
It's a good piece of property.
Now, we do have some things to vote on for you.
Yes,
These are the use
so we've
agreements.
got our swim use agreements that are standard, Bryant, Boxside, and Lakeside dive.
I'm surprised we're getting Lakeside.
Yeah. They first one dive. Right.
You have had these to review. If you don't have any questions, can we adopt these all at once, Ashley?
Make a motion to adopt items, whatever they are.
19, all 3 items.
10, 30, whatever it is.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Everyone who agrees, say yay. Yay. If you guys are no, thank you very much. That has passed. Yes. And we have a lacrosse agreement.
Yes, and are really excited about lacrosse. I wanted give Patty a minute to kind of share what's going on.
You've been waiting for all this. I was not aware. I apologize if I didn't know that you were sitting back there.
No, I gave you enough.
He doesn't have anything better to do. He just hangs out and watches.
Go ahead and tell us quickly about lacrosse.
And if I get anything wrong, her head will be shaking so she can correct me. So I'm Adam Baker, it's my wife Crystal. We started, well, years ago, Bryant has had kind of a lacrosse team here and there. Those founders moved to Missouri. So that's why we don't have the Bryant lacrosse name. They took it with them, they own it. So we created Salt County Lacrosse. We thought a Salt Bowl, Salt County. So we are currently we have 39 boys in the high school team, 26 girls in the high school team.
Wow.
Last year, we got ourselves into the league, so Arkansas has a National State Lacrosse League. There's Northwest Arkansas has 4 or 5 schools, Central Arkansas has 4, Louisiana and Missouri are all in the Arkansas League. So our girls placed second standing-wise in the league last year. Unfortunately, since it was our first year in the league, we were on probation, so we couldn't play in state tournament. This year, we'll be able to play in state. The boys have been accepted to be able to play for state. And something that I worked with Chris and Keith about was, so we use the Alcoa 40 Park, the old football field back there, had been used like 7 years. Last year we took it over, we did an hour-by-hour pay, how we rented it. We understood that the parks is very limited, so I took over the mowing, the treeing, the fields, all that stuff. We offer lacrosse to the youth. We did one fundraiser, and we pretty much bring lacrosse to the youth at no expense to them. We do the fundraisers, donations, all that kind of stuff, and if they participate in one fundraiser, it doesn't cost them a dime. Last year or this summer, we put $5,000, I think, worth backstop netting up because we got the new parkway coming. When those boys sling a ball, it's humming about 70, 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
So we also have to keep our balls so we don't lose them. But we got nets up on both sides, and then we worked with the city parks. If you look at the website, you have multi-purpose field here, football field here, and all this stuff. Well, now if you go to Alcoa Park, it says lacrosse field. It doesn't say multi-purpose field, it doesn't say anything else.
There you go.
And since the city of Bryant did that, that is now the only lacrosse field in the state of Arkansas.
Wow.
So Bryant has the only, and then I think Rogers is in the process of building one, but Bryant will still be the first. So, and that's even on the college level. And National State Lacrosse League even confirmed that there is no other dedicated lacrosse field in the state. And what opportunity that has given us, and I guess the city of Bryant, is season runs March and April. I think our first game, the weekends are February 21st. But we are hosting now, so C.E. Bird out of Shreveport is in our league, and Northwest Arkansas is in our league. So instead of each one of those teams having to drive 8 hours to play each other, now they're going to meet in the middle, and we're hosting their tournaments.
Awesome.
So all the families from all those teams will have to stay in Bryant and eat in Bryant, do all that stuff for the weekends. And I think there's 4 scheduled weekends, maybe?
We have 4 scheduled weekends.
So we're not playing, our Salt County's not playing, but we're hosting for those teams to come here and play. So, and that's because we have a designated lacrosse field. So that's, I think Shreveport said they were gonna host, and then they had soccer come up, and soccer was already more big, so they was like, well, you can't play that weekend. So we offered, so now we're hosting it.
That's great.
So that's something I thought that, the city of Bryant can always advertise from now on till, we have the only designated lacrosse field in the state of Arkansas. We just had a college commit, our first college commit. He got a full ride scholarship to Shorter College out of Georgia. The good thing about lacrosse in Arkansas, not a lot of people play it. So if they're wanting to play through high school and then go to college, nothing's a guarantee, but the probability of them getting the scholarships is very high. We have 12 seniors on the team this year. We do have players from Benton, Bauxite, Bryant is probably 60%. We have 3 or 4 Maumelle players and a couple people from Little Rock, and they're all having to drive here to play in our team. So it's open for, anybody that wants to play. It's not regulated to a school or to Bryant. So, yeah, that's what we're,
appreciate it.
we plan to keep growing. Hopefully have a youth team next year. I coach 4th through 6th grade out of Little Rock. We don't have that here yet because it's tough to find coaches. But we're hoping to bring the younger age now. But when season starts, I'll get a letter to somebody, or I'll let John know, try to get some of y'all out. We did last year, we did a big opening weekend with the DJ and all kinds of people out there. It's kind of a big deal.
Glad to be there.
So we'll invite y'all out because I think it's something big, new sport coming. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
so much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so you have the use agreement? There we go. Do I have a motion to adopt this agreement?
Motion to adopt.
Was that Jack? or-
Yes.
Sometimes y'all's voices get me mixed up here.
Man, I sounded like them.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. You have passed and adopted that use agreement. Tim, thank you, Chris. Thank you. It is now your turn.
All right.
Yes. I know it came up very quickly and unexpectedly, but, that does fall, okay? CAW rate pass-through ordinance.
Yeah, so this is a pass-through rate ordinance. We already know we're gonna have 10 years of increases from CAW, and then their new infrastructure fee. This is just an ordinance saying that we will pass it through, but also we will bring it back for review every year.
Motion approved. Second.
Okay, have a motion. I'm sorry, this is an ordinance.
Motion put on first, second, and third reading by
Okay.
title only, madam.
Thank you very much. So we have the motion to suspend the rules and read first, second, and third reading by title only. Next.
Robin Jordan.
Robin Jordan. Got that?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. So you have suspended the rules. Do I have a motion to adopt this?
You gotta read first.
Oh, I gotta read first, that's right. I was gonna read second, but, sorry. An ordinance authorizing the City of Bryant Water Department to automatically assess any pass-through charges received by the department from Central Arkansas Water and/or other authorized water suppliers to its customers. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second. Enthusiasm's killing you, isn't it?
Star and Jordan. This is an ordinance, so it is a roll call vote.
Rodell,
Yes.
O'Rourke,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Mosley,
Yes.
Martin. Yes. Meyer,
Yes.
Parmenter.
Yes.
Okay, you have passed that, and it is ordinance 2023-31. Am I correct?
Yes.
The emergency wastewater treatment plant purchase, would you like to
So
explain that?
it's amazing how things happen. We had the budget workshop and then, sure, we had a blower go down at the wastewater treatment plant. There's a 30-week lead. We have already ordered it. Joy is aware. Mayor was aware. But we did say if we had something over $35,000 in an emergency purchase, we'd bring it back to let you know. That's all we have to do for. So the last one took 42 weeks to get here, and it took everything.
42 weeks?
How often do they go out?
Well, these blowers will pass their lifespan. This one was scabbed together from two other. This one that went out was scabbed together from two other blowers that had gone out.
So how old do you think it was?
It's 7 years past its lifespan. The treatment plant was put in 2007, if I remember.
And this was much more energy efficient, right, the one you're getting?
Yeah. And it's part of the aggregated sludge process. You need it to process the waste based on our treatment plant.
So what are we gonna do for the next 40 weeks?
Two blowers on each side, so we can operate it, but if it goes out, we'll have to switch to basically A and B side only, or take one of those and move to C side, so we fix it.
That's what I was asking you, is this one of those things you think you need a backup?
In the budget, there's $220,000 for the treatment plant, this is one of the purchases.
So which one is this that's out?
I believe it was the C side.
Okay, is it over here?
This is at the treatment plant, yeah.
Oh, crap.
Water in the first line.
Literal.
So, literal.
Yeah, if you see a blower, it's generally going to be directly at it.
So you can see the quote information, and these are the blowers that we have to have. So this is, we wanted you to be aware of it, even though the order was just recently placed. We want you to approve this. We got the process started due to the emergency nature of it. So do I have a motion to approve this purchase?
Yes.
Star? Do I have a second? Wade? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. The ayes have it.
You were Jack.
I'm going to pass these down to you because I asked my friend Tim to explain to me what RRFBs were and to explain this next little bit so that you would have some in writing about what's going on with this.
So in the past, you've heard us talk about hawk signals, that's just another version of the RFB. It's a rectangular rapid flashing beacons. This just happens to be the brand we purchased. We're going to start slowly rolling these out to replace the high traffic areas for pedestrians to cross. I spoke to some of you about some of the locations. The first 6 are listed on that documentation. We do have 15. We have other areas we're looking at. That'll be fine, but we have to make some adjustments to the sidewalks and stuff before we go. So this is to approve the $66,932 to install these, which was in the 2023 budget.
Are there questions concerning that? This is not necessarily a new project item, it's a continuation of one. And I just wanted you to have all the information possible so you would know what you were approving.
Flash and let your lights make people say.
Yeah, like
Yes.
downtown.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
John, put you down for that second. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
All against it, say no. This is now your time to make council comments. I'm
Thank you for 10 points.
I'm so sorry. I'm not.
No question. You go first.
Is this one of those signals you were talking about for Kings Crossing?
Yes, and that's one of the areas we have to adjust the sidewalk. We already have. What's your street called?
Okay.
What's your street?
Thank you.
And these are solar.
Suncrest.
Suncrest.
Easier install.
So, you done?
I'm done. The floor is yours.
So I got a call, and I should have called one of y'all, sorry. But are we going to be able to replace the fences for the neighbors over on Sunset?
I've been in conversations with them. As a matter of fact, I spoke with them today.
Okay.
I have received some quotes, and I'm working with them on exactly what the quotes are going to be and the extra cost is going to be. And I will bring y'all a recommendation next week, okay? No, I appreciate it. And I knew that he called you and was going to visit with you, but I have been in conversation with them and I've been working with Jim. So, anyway, so I just got the first quote in today.
All good? Did my job.
Anything else? Thank you. Okay, you have one more question, Lisa?
No, I have one. Are we to council comments?
Council comments now.
Okay, thank you, Tim. You guys went above and beyond. A couple of my neighbors that got hit by the utility that was blowing fiber that drove through her sewer line. Even though it wasn't the city's property, you guys really made the city look good. You took care of my neighbor. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other council comments?
Yes, I do. Another thank you for Tim Stokes. My mother had a plumber out and they couldn't find the water meter because it had been covered over by dirt from, I guess, the fiber people. And so they were there quickly, and while the plumber was still there, located it, and she got her plumbing problems leak fixed, so.
When your plumbing doesn't work, people are not happy.
Yes, that's right.
Sure is.
As far as your, any other council comments? As far as your mayor comments, I'll have a couple of things at your place. I want to remind you that the 30th, which I think that is Thursday, is our day to begin the discussions with RDOT. From 2:30 to 3:30 is elected officials' time at First Baptist Bryant. You'll be able to come and look at what's happening on Highway 5, and those things are underway because they're starting to do surveys. So it is upon us. And then there is the event for the public that night. So you've got information there. I also made a copy of something that Trent shared with us, which is Safety Action Plan. It's a Saline County open house on Tuesday, December 5th at Bishop Park. This will be another item I think you may want to come and listen to. Metro Plan and opportunities for some grants, opportunities that we have for safe streets, for walking and things. So I just wanted y'all to have those items. Don't forget, December 9th is our event that we're going to be having. I would love to have you all be there. I think that is it. Do I have a motion? If no one else has anything, thank you all. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. We've done a lot tonight. We've done a lot. It's been long, but you're hung with it, I appreciate it. And
Got to use his arm off.
a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I didn't do a motion.
There you go.